Hi guys, Bruce here. Well, yeah, sometimes I get some criticism that my the pender lift is a little narrow, and today I would have to agree because it's 2 feet, and the 2 feet center line on these tires is right there. There, see that? And the actual ramp is even a little bit narrower. But I got it up there. So, power generator VI 9000. That's all that means to me is it's 9,000 watts. This is part of the Tool Bonanza on the Penderosa. So it's long in the tooth again, just like those compressors were. Do you guys remember those? Should be recent. The battery does work, which is a good thing because there's no pull rope. What? Wrong end. Turned it around. There's no pull rope on it anyway. I don't know what it is with these guys. They take off the pull ropes, right? All 3 of those compressors had no pull assist. And it's just, I guess maybe it broke and they tried to, or stole it for another, what is this, an 8 or a 9 horsepower? Probably 12 horsepower. I don't know. But anyway, so it's rough. But the thing is that it runs. A couple of things right away, eh? No muffler. This muffler, oops, I'll be right with you, 2 or 3 hours. There we go. This muffler was there. It was shoved in. Oh man, it's hard to do. It was shoved in over top of that plate, right? Over top of there like that, onto that bracket. Right, like that. But it was just rattling and causing lots of noise. And on my last generator autopsy, I got this. Can you believe it? Whoop, there we go. I got this. And, okay, we'll go to the top, see if we can do this. There it is. It's got a double flange on the top. And so does, that has the double flange, right? This is the old one. The bracket is in a different place. So there's the muffler, there's the new one, and there's the old one. But surely to goodness, this is just bracketry. I can probably weld to this or this, but I would never weld to that. I don't have that. I don't kind of have that in Mignus. Mine's a flux core or stick. So, and then the 2 ends, one looks smaller. The owner said, well, what about output? He said, this end looks smaller than this one. And I said, no, this is just that screen. Take the screen out from that screw right there, and they are the identical muffler. Even look at the seams, eh? We'll turn them over. And the design on the front is exactly the same as this design. That's the same muffler with a different bracket. Holy Midas. Do you guys have Midas in the States? So, problem 1, no rewind. The customer might have to just deal with that, but it has electric start. And I've been telling everybody I'm not doing anything more than an 8 horse pull. Like an 8 horsepower pull type mower. Motorr. Motorr. Maybe that will be the names of this. This is like some kind of a Mad Max generator. We'll call him Motorr. 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 Hey, that's a good name. So Motorr, step 1. So unbelievably, it starts and it generates electricity. It looks like this side's taken it fell over in the, you know, these construction guys that have these closed-in trailers. That's what he uses. It's probably fallen over. So there's no key switch. And there's an on and a start and an off. So there will be a ground to ground the magneto. There will be an on to take the ground off the magneto, and then there will be a start to activate this solenoid to turn the engine over. It's my kind of stuff. I just don't do anything usually this big. Intro complete. Okay, let's lift the Motorr. We're at the top. So right away, I can see something. The muffler was on like this. Okay, so that is where the bracket attached when said muffler, right there, you see that? Hey, baby, Adrian. Cut me, Paulie. Okay, there you go. So wouldn't that be nice to have that bracket, albeit more substantial, right here, off of here. Right there. It'll come off that side somehow. So that's the old one, and that's the new one. And this is the first thing I'm going to fix. The second thing will be the two-way switch. I'm sure he doesn't care whether it's a switch or a key. I mean, to steal this, all you got to do is roll it away, right? And then if the gods are smiling, we're going to get a 200 volt AC meter to replace that. And this auto off switch works. When you go to auto, it drops to idle when you're not using your tools. He uses this for his electrical saws and stuff when he's up on roofs. He's a carpenter. So I hope I didn't shake too much there, guys. Alright, ooh, I'm sweating. Nobody said this would be easy. So we got a 14 and a 3 and a 10 millimeter on this muffler flange. Seems kind of weird to me. But if I can get this tapped on there, I really don't want to put a wrench on that. Are you getting any of this? I think you are. I'm trying not to do this. Alright. Now, Obi-Wan, will this fit on the new muffler? This won't fit. We need this to test. I threw this in the shed thinking, oh man, here's another piece of stuff in my shed I don't need. Okay. Boy, Joe, I think it's going to work. That's pretty good. It's flush. I think it's royal. Okay. I am going to attach that. And we have all kinds of fun little bolts to attach this with, don't we? We got these little guys, or these little guys. What do you guys like better? I'm kind of liking the small guys with the stud. Or the 13 mil guys. I kind of like these flat boys better. Slightly bigger, something to grab onto. Okay, I'm going to attach this muffler. Well, I might as well tighten it up. So there's no question of where it goes when we build a bracket on the other end. So now, all we have to do, because it has to be mounted to the motor so the whole thing shakes together, like this. Well, this is going to be shaken and the frame won't be shaken. So we want this and this to do this together. I'm sorry. And it's not that big of a reach from here to here and from here to here. Are they threaded? Anyway, we will find out. Just two brackets. It's going to be stronger than the old one because the old one was just right down there. And it broke. So give me a few minutes. Now, you guys don't know if, yeah, you heard my explanation that we have to go back to the same unit as the motor is attached to so that the vibration is equal. So I've got some brackets. I'll be right back. Alright, and we got to remember this isn't the space shuttle, right? So this is going to be attached to that with one of the old muffler bolts that we got, and a lock washer, not that copper washer that was there. And I threaded this all the way through. Oh, now why won't that do that? The holes are the right distance. That's right, to square up it's got to go in the front. So I have to cut this back a little bit. I'm gonna have to just cut it down and across. Oh well. And it's mounted and bolted in two positions, there and down here, to the generator itself. And so that if there's any vibration, if this was tied, like if the muffler was tied to here, it would tear out in a minute. But the muffler has to vibrate with the engine and the generator. Alright my friends, I just want to have a look inside this panel to see what kind of key this is, and if the voltage for the tab that goes to the key is ground on the solenoid or is a battery. Tore my glove already. Oh man. Just going to take this cover off here. I got to get in here. There we go. That wasn't bad. Okay. Where's the key? Oh, it's a pretty complicated little sucker. Oh, it's already been tie wrapped by somebody. Oh, that's too bad. Side cutters for the key. If you can see right down here, this is the key, and this is the side cutter for it. We might be able to take this wiring apart inside here and jerry rig a new key or off-on switch or something. Whoops, or something. And there it is. No, it's not that complicated, right? It's only 6 connections in there. I should be able to figure out what's what, even just by using a probe. Alright, the last time I put this generator on my little yellow lift, I had to run it up my ramp, and the ramp is too narrow for the wheels, and I had a close call. So now I'm not taking any chances at all. I'm using my chain hoist, which is what it was designed for, with a good strap. Yes, it's the strap itself is not tied. It can still slip in here, but that's okay. It's going to center itself, right? I used a clove hitch and a half knot on this. This was a good part of what I did years ago, except the equipment was electronic and electromechanical, and then after we installed it, we would get to commission it as well, which of course was the best, most freak out part, working on $2 million worth of equipment. All right, so I'm going to close this back door just for light. Over to here. And then we'll put the generator, we'll put the chains away on the hoist. All right, so there it is, all put away in its goodness. I haven't used it for a while. So above there, you'll see there's 1/2 inch rod going into the ceiling. Maybe. there. All along from there to there, there's a 4x6 in the rafters, chained down, or no, it's probably lag bolted into the joists. So I've got support from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 joists, and that beam would support about, that aluminum duct channel should support about 600 pounds. Alright, let's lift this bad boy up. So there's two things I want to do today. I want to get this key working, and this is the triple position key, right? Off, which is grounding the coil, on, which is essentially everything's running open, and then start, which puts either a ground or a battery on the solenoid that starts the motor. So, sounds like a small project, but if things don't go well, it could take a long time. Okay, I'm back. A little bit of Science Class 101 here. Sorry, guys. I love this kind of stuff. Okay, this is a solenoid right here. On the generator, this could be a tractor, this could be a lawnmower right there. You see where those two studs are? I don't know if you can see both of them. Right there, that's a solenoid. It takes a lot of current to turn over the starter on any kind of a machine. These look like the Ford cars. The older Ford cars have one of these, maybe even the newer ones. So what they do is these two huge terminals, I'll call them huge, the battery goes on one side, and then the other side goes to the starter to turn it over. But if you were to just use a key in here, like a regular key, now you can get the high amperage keys. Zippo likes to use those. It eliminates a lot of hardware. You can start a tractor, a lawn tractor, with a high amperage switch. But this is what is usually used. And so I've got a little battery here that generates 12 volts. In here is a relay. So this black wire emulates that this thing is grounded out, just like it's sitting on the table here, right? So then we take the battery, the red, which has 12 volts on it, believe me, and this operates the relay, which then in turn allows the high current to go from this side to this side. From this side to this side. You hear that? That's called music. Anybody who takes electronics and electricity in shop or school or college or whatever, that's one of the first things you learn. And probably one of the last too, because there's lots of configurations. The bottom one is the brown in and the brown out right there is the battery that serves several purposes. And the blue one is the one that comes off the solenoid. So if I take a spade connector and touch it from there to there, that's the same thing as taking my key, turning it on, not to the on position, and then to start, like that. So we might even use this key, but I have to make up some connectors and I don't want to waste them. So just hang on. Alright, so it makes sense. This one with the 3 black leads, I thought that was a ground, but that is actually the wire that goes to the coil. I took the cover off, and the wire that comes off the coil is black, and naturally with all the electronic shutdowns that are all over the flippin' place, not just on the starter key, that is the coil. So here we are, we're turned off, right? And I've supported this because the weight of the wires was pulling everything out. So let's go to choke, and it should start. I hope. So that solves about 50 little problems, doesn't it? So if I take a spade connector and touch it from there to there, that's the same thing as taking my key, turning it on, not to the on position, and then to start, like that. So we might even use this key. Alright guys, we had a little gas leak coming out of the bottom of the sediment bowl. I just took it off. I had to use vice grips to get it off because it was stripped. But I repaired the cup with a file. So now at least I can get a nice ratchet on there. So I took it off and then I thought, gosh, that's an awful lot like one of my spares. But inside the one that's on the tank there's no washer. This one has a washer. So we're going to look into the... I haven't had a lot of luck with this set, but every once in a while it's like, oh! So I'm going to use this as my guide. There it is. Oh yeah! That's the old one. Yep, I'm going to try it. I'm going to stay there? Yes it is. That's cool. So I'm just putting it back on with the washer inside. And then I'm changing out the fuel line from there to there. And it looks like 3/16 to me. This is the old one and it's too short. So, I've got even just a ½ inch longer would be enough. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I gotta go for lunch. Do you guys know how nice it is to have somebody say lunch, and you go for lunch and they have a beautiful hot lunch and then come back out to the garage or whatever and shop and work away? It's wonderful. So yes, I'm just getting the fuel line ready. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I got to search around a little bit. I'll be back in just 2 shakes. Alright, there's our new fuel line to the carburetor. Let's turn her on. We'll see if it drips. We'll know it's going to take 15 minutes or so, or less. Cool. Okay, we're starting to button things up on this generator, and the 6 bolts nuts that held the air filter assembly in were not there. It was just clamped on the outside with the big clamp, because the foam filter sits in here. And it's interesting, excuse me, one hand again, right? Look at how nicely that moved in there. Alright guys, we're getting somewhere. It took me a long time to find it. This is a Predator 420, and it's 4 to 6 millimeters, or 4 to 6 thousandths on the intake stroke, and 6 to 8 thousandths on the exhaust stroke. I've got an 8 right here. You can do this 2 ways. If you go to top dead center, well, let's just do that. We'll go to top dead center. Let's see, there's the intake stroke, the valve kick for decompression release, exhaust, and it's right after the intake stroke piston coming up, right? Okay, so they should both be loose. So it's actually 5 degrees. Some guys say 5 degrees past top dead center. Top dead center does work, but you have to make sure you're on the compression stroke. So this is the exhaust valve right here. It should be at 8 thousandths. Pardon me. Get the camera set up. It's good and stiff, right? And go to 9 thousandths. Don't forget it's an old engine, and I'm not afraid to leave it at 9 thousandths. Yeah, so I can hardly get that in there, scratching it. Perfect. And then the intake is 6. And because I had to use one of those forums, but I saw Boudreaux and Eunice is on there, and I always trust them. They're good people. 5, 6. Hard to find specs on some of this Chinese stuff, eh? So now this is the intake is at 6. You hear that? I trust that 100%. So now I'm going to close this up. I think we're getting ready to finish this bad boy. You know, I must be getting close when I'm doing the valves, eh? They got great gaskets on these. Okay. Didn't have to touch a thing. Thanks, Boudreaux. Nothing's too tight, right? Alright. So now, what have we got left? I just have to add water, distilled water to that battery. See how good it starts? Choke. Thanks for your time on this one, guys. And two things, the meter and the rope rewind. He says he's got it in his shed somewhere. Well, I won't be shy. I got this from Harry out of the big used bin at Princess Auto. He got that for me. And I'm just going to temporarily bolt this on here. You have to watch how long these are so they don't interfere with the threads on or the cooling fins, right? Plus, it should have one of these on for cooling, I would hope. So, what's the best way to mount this? Here, or here, or there. Alright, there's the rewind on there. Looks pretty good. I decided to put the rope back to this side because most right-handed people will put their arm here and then pull the rope back towards you. So it was a toss-up. I originally had it mounted so that the pull rope was here, but it just didn't look right to me. So there we are. New rewind. New key with 5-point wiring spade lugs on there. And the Molex connector inside had 6 lugs, so I'm not quite sure, but there doesn't seem to be anything missing. New used muffler, which came off of another generator, and it's mounted and bolted in 2 positions, there and down here, to the generator itself. The battery was low on electrolyte. It was down to about below here, so I filled it up with distilled water only, never used tap water. And I put it on my charger for a couple of days. And let me see, what else have we got? Key switch, rope start, muffler. Oh, there was a leak on the gas valve. That took an O-ring. I put on a new spark plug in. The other one didn't fit right. And that's about it, my friends. So let's just do a start up and see how it goes. I hear footsteps. I'm hearing things. Okay. Joe. Pretty cool, eh? Yeah, so I want to give them a call. Thanks a lot for joining me on this one, guys.